Hello, it's good to be here. I am so sorry about the delays and the postponements and everything else. Believe me, if I could have streamed at noon, I would have streamed at noon. We had a massive outage in the area, and so I continued working on my project. And wouldn't you know that, like minutes or like 45 minutes after I announced that I was postponing my stream, the internet came back up. But I was already working on my project, so I decided, screw it. I already rescheduled for 6 p.m. So I'll just go with 6 p.m. I'll stick with that. It's okay. Anyway, thank you for being here. I know more people are going to turn up as they realize that I have finally gone live. So before we get into the whole Justin Bieber thing, I've been doing a lot of thinking today as I've been following the news from the Middle East. I am very happy to report that though that missile barrage has not killed any Israelis so far, only one hapless Palestinian fellow in Jericho got smushed by a missile casing. And the only Israelis who were killed by gunfire by terrorists on the public transport system. I believe there was also an attack in Herzliya. Anyway, so I hope that Iran has strapped in. I feel very sorry for the people of Iran who are not to blame for any of this. But we will see in the next 24 to 48 hours what is going to happen. My understanding is that the United States has asked Israel not to respond, and Israel responded with two middle fingers up, as one would expect. Okay. So I've been doing a lot of thinking today as I've been watching this terrible footage, and just thinking in general about how we're mere days away from the October 7th 1-year anniversary. And I thought that I would send a very special message out to Zachary Michael. Now, Zachary Michael, as you all know, has just had a breakup. That's not what I want to talk about. I'm not interested in his personal life. I could give a damn about who he's seeing, what the status is of his relationship. However, I did notice, we all know he has a very loyal community, right? And they adore him, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with having a loyal community. Those of us who, stream or create content on any platform would like to have a loyal community that sticks by us through thick and thin and whatnot. But my problem is that Zach has been treated for so many years like he's not really an adult human male. He's treated kind of like he's some sort of a magical woodland creature, like he's an innocent little elf or a wood sprite. Zachary is not an elf, a wood sprite, or a magical woodland creature. Zachary is a grown-ass man, and as such, I am going to speak to him like a grown-ass man and not like a child. I didn't come on here to pat his ass today. And again, I'm not here to talk about his personal life the way he likes talking about the girls' personal lives. Has nothing to do with me. I could be rude and point out that it's very ironic that he and Noel continue to live together, which is something that I think that he berated Amber Lynn Reed for doing with Becky, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. No, what I'm here to say is the following. Shortly after October 7th, Zach went on his channel and he made a heartfelt plea for the Palestinian people and posted a bunch of propaganda links in his description box and asked for people to donate money to probably some terror-run organization, since so many of those Palestinian organizations have been co-opted by terrorists. And this is what I have to say to you, Zach. While you're sitting around crying hot tears for these so-called Palestinian civilians. Hey, how you doing, guys? these are the same Palestinian civilians, so-called, the ones that you cry over, all right? These are the same Palestinian civilians who worked in the Gaza envelope on the Israeli side at the same kibbutzim, most of which were very, very left-wing and made an effort to employ Palestinians from Gaza to work on these kibbutzim. These so-called civilians were the ones who did reconnaissance work on these kibbutzim and went back and reported to their Hamas overseers about where the safe rooms were, where the police were located in the towns, how many families were on these kibbutzim, how many children were in each house, how many of the houses had dogs, so that when Hamas and a big coterie of so-called innocent civilians stormed into Israel on October 7th, they knew exactly where to go, and they knew exactly what the weak points were in each of these kibbutzim, and they knew who to attack first. The people that you're crying over, Zach, are the same people who took hostages, the same people who kidnapped babies, the same people who raped women at a music festival, and men, by the way, the same people who celebrated as they dragged innocent festival goers and kibbutzniks into Gaza, into that hellscape where they came from. These are the same so-called innocent civilians, that some of whom were keeping hostages in their own private homes. The same innocent civilians who had tunnel openings in their children's bedrooms. The same innocent civilians who worked at hospitals that doubled as Hamas headquarters. So I take exception to the fact that you decided to go on your channel, spread propaganda, cover for terrorists, cover for rapists, and cover for murderers, while you were ignoring the impact that October 7th had on Israelis. If it had been any other ethnic group that had been terrorized and brutalized the way the Jews were on that day, I'm sure that either you would have nothing to say about it, or you would be making some sort of a plea on behalf of the victims. But of course, because it was Jews, then you don't give a shit, obviously. So because you, in advocating support for people who would have killed my entire family, my Israeli family, all of whom live, or not all of whom, but most of whom live in the Gaza envelope, some of whom have been internally displaced for a year. They can't return home because it's too fucking dangerous for them to go back to their own homes. Because you do not wish well on my family or on Jews in general, I'm afraid. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm afraid that I am fresh out of fucks to give about anything you have to say or any of your personal problems, which pale in comparison to the problems of the people you exploited for money and attention and SJW points. And it makes me sick. And I feel that you and I can have this conversation because, like I said, you're not a child. You're a grown-ass man who should know better. Simping for murderers and rapists. How dare you? And also horribly, horribly betraying your gay brothers and sisters in Gaza and in the West Bank. This gays for Palestine thing is tedious. It is ironic. It is insulting to the intelligence. It makes absolutely no sense. And it shows a complete lack of understanding of the region, and it shows a fundamental betrayal of things that you should hold dear, which is human dignity, especially when it comes to the gay community. You are an embarrassment, Zach. Grow the fuck up. All right. Now, thank you, No Name. Thank you, my love. I appreciate it. Thank you for the very generous dono. I appreciate it. And of course, thank you again, Beth. Now that I've talked to Zach, so we are um, we are here to discuss what's happening with P. Diddy. Some of you may have seen that over 100 new alleged victims came forward, and they want to join in on the criminal lawsuit or a civil lawsuit against this man. An attorney from Texas put out an announcement, and over 100 alleged victims stepped forward, some of whom claimed that they were as young as 9 years old when they were victimized by him and his group. Now, we don't know if this is true. This is all alleged, obviously, as are all the accusations against him. He has not been found guilty in court, so we are going to say alleged. We're going to do that. However, this is what we are going to do. We're going to talk about Justin Bieber, and we're going to talk about Usher. Now, those of you who have been following me for any length of time know my very, very strong feelings about children in the entertainment business. You also know that I have been waiting with bated breath for the Me Too movement to finally make it over to the music business. I was very despondent after Harvey Weinstein was found guilty, and I thought, oh shit, now we're all going to rest on our laurels, and Me Too is over. It's burned out, and it'll never get to the music business, and we're never going to see people in that business held accountable for their actions. Well, I was wrong, thank God. So now that we've got Diddy in the crosshairs and all of his friends, because there are a lot of people involved in this, a lot of people are going to get dragged into this. Now that we've got him, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that at some point Bryan Singer and Dan Schneider will also get their reckoning. Hasn't happened yet, but if we're lucky, that will happen. And they will have to face their accusers in a court of law. Okay. Back to children in the music business or in any entertainment field. I have always been vehemently opposed to children in the entertainment business for obvious reasons. Mostly because children tend to be pushed into the entertainment business by greedy, unscrupulous, and ambitious parents, many of whom are failed entertainers themselves. And they will do anything to see their children make it. Hi, Zarfax. Thank you. I'm so glad. Thank you, Zarfax. Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that, and thank you for being here. I'm so glad to see people coming back and in chat and all of that. Thank you so much, and thank you for that very kind donation. You can rest assured that if R. Kelly was no longer in jail, that parents would be throwing their daughters at him in an attempt to get them to make it in the business. It would not surprise me to hear that parents had been writing to him in prison, sending pictures of their daughters, or trying to appeal to him or his management company to try and make their daughters stars. Because the kind of person that would push their child into the entertainment business is exactly the kind of person who would subject them to every predation and every form of abuse imaginable. Now, Justin Bieber has obviously been very, very troubled for a number of years. And the internet reacted as the internet does, which is to mock him, which is to drag him, and mock and drag his wife, and claim that the father-in-law was up to no good when he kind of shoved them together, and that she's up to no good, and that he's crazy, and that he's dangerous, and they're always fighting, and blah, 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 blah. Well, that's what the internet does with a person who is mentally ill and traumatized, right? It's par for the course. No humanity, no compassion, no kindness. And it's been very obvious for years that there was something very, very wrong with him. Very wrong with him. You don't have to be a fan of his music. You don't have to follow him. You don't have to be a fan of him, full stop. But I think that we owe him the courtesy of allowing him to heal, whether in or out of the public eye. And the dogpiling of that kid has been a disgraceful, disgusting spectacle. Now, Usher was also exploited as a young man in the entertainment business, but he's hidden it better. You know, Usher has been much better at hiding whatever it is that happened to him and the trauma that was inflicted on him. Justin Bieber wears his heart on his sleeve. And for months, if not years, I have been waiting for Justin Bieber to tell his story. Well, he hasn't told it yet, but you can see the worry on his face now, because no doubt he's going to be compelled to testify. And we are going to be hearing some stories. That is what I'm guessing is going to happen. So, I think Justin Bieber is adorable. I love his music. I think his wife is gorgeous. And I am heartbroken for him too. And I have been waiting. I have been waiting to hear his story. So here's part of his story. This is something I found on Facebook today. My family sold me to the industry when I was 14 years old. And whenever I wanted to complain, they never listened, because all they cared about was the money. When I was with Diddy, I saw and did things which no kid ever should see or do. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn to. Everyone turned their backs on me, even my own family, because all they wanted was the money. I saw things which any kid shouldn't see, and I did things which any kid shouldn't do because I had no choice. What I went through in this industry, I don't wish that upon anybody. There are things in the industry that people don't want to talk about because it'll reveal things which shouldn't be revealed. It's just so sick because no one is willing to take the risk and say it. I've just decided to distance myself from this industry and heal because I'm still hurt. Justin Bieber cried while talking about his experience. Apparently, he was on a podcast recently. And he's still so young. He's not even 30 years old. All right. So let's watch this video. This is actually a very good video. It's very good. The content creator's channel is linked in the description box. Please don't be put off by the fact that all of his video titles are clickbait. Okay, don't be put off by that because his content is quite good. So let's go ahead and watch this, and we'll get a better idea of what is going on. Let's go.
The arrest and indictment of Sean Diddy Combs. At the center of it all are stars like Usher and Justin Bieber, who both had encounters with the rapper in the early years of their careers.
We can't really disclose.
Look at him. Look at him. 15 years old and he looks 12, doesn't he? Looks like a baby. Which parent in their right fucking mind turns a child this age over to strangers to make him a star? Look at that face. I swear to God, every time I see that face, it hurts. Let's continue.
But it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
Videos have been circulating showing a much younger Bieber spending time with Diddy while questionable interactions occurred.
Well, this party, I think half the people there were kid.
Justin Bieber is a victim.
All these have got eagle-eyed Hollywood fans worried about what possibly went down behind closed doors. Come with me to break down these isolated but connected bone-chilling events. FBI's findings raise questions on Bieber's past with Diddy. The extensive legal document that outlined Diddy's indictment pried open a can of worms, alleging decades-long atrocities committed by the rapper and his associates. From racketeering conspiracy, arson, kidnapping, hosting questionable wild parties, illicit use and distribution of drugs, and unlawful filming of victims.
And guess who told us all about it? Cat Williams, Wendy Williams, 50 Cent, Eminem, Nicki Minaj, this was the best known secret in the entertainment business. Everyone knew. Cat Williams has been talking about this for years. Wendy Williams was talking about it for years. Everyone knew. Everyone knew. And that's why everyone deserves to get caught in this fucking dragnet and exposed for who and what they truly are.
Diddy is enshrouded in a web of dark dealings. In the light of the unsealed indictment document, pop culture fans and the internet populace have brought up the names of several celebrities, including Justin Bieber, in conversations questioning his past relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. Amid these conversations and controversies, old videos resurfaced showing several interactions of a much younger Bieber with Diddy. These clips were filmed at the start of Bieber's career when Diddy was his mentor. While this arrangement was seemingly innocuous in its actual meaning, the videos told a different story. Internet users were further triggered by how the indictment document alleged that Diddy endangered minors, leading many to believe that Bieber might have been in danger the whole time he was Diddy's mentee. Their first significant interaction took place in 2009, when Bieber was invited to spend a weekend with Diddy. This was a pivotal moment for the young artist, as it offered him a glimpse into the
Look at his face. Look at his face. Who lets a kid this age spend a weekend or any amount of time with a grown fucking man running some kind of a sex emporium? No parent in sight, no supervising adult in sight, no one there to look after him, no one there to take care of him. It is so utterly disgusting. Disgusting. Let's continue.
Glamorous and often chaotic world of a music icon.
Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
In a video from that weekend, Diddy can be heard saying he had 40 hours with Bieber, and they could not disclose the nature and details of their activities.
Why not?
This statement, while seemingly innocent at the time, has since taken on a more ominous tone.
Why not? Why not? If nothing untoward's happened, why can't you be public and come out and say what it was that you did together? What's the problem? If it was a totally innocent, above-board interaction, and nothing happened in those 48 hours, then why so much secrecy? Why can't you say what happened? Well, I'm sure that we are going to hear what happened, aren't we?
In recent events. During this period, Diddy took on a mentor-like role for Bieber, offering him guidance and support as he navigated the complexities of the music industry. Diddy, known for his work with artists like Biggie Smalls and Mary J. Blige, saw potential in Bieber and wanted to help him succeed. The two were often seen together at various events, and their relationship appeared to be one of mutual respect and admiration. As Bieber's career skyrocketed, he continued to maintain a connection with Diddy. They collaborated on several projects, and Diddy often praised Bieber's talent and work ethic. In interviews, Bieber spoke highly of Diddy, crediting him with providing valuable advice and helping him stay grounded amidst the whirlwind of fame. However, as Bieber's star continued to rise, the dynamics of their relationship began to shift. In a video from a few years later, a clearly uncomfortable Bieber is seen being questioned by Diddy over a lack of contact. As they shook hands, Bieber told Diddy that he was all good, only for Diddy to further question him about his career, saying, "Everything's good, selling out arenas and everything."
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number.
The conversation.
Why would this adult male be berating a teenage kid? Why haven't you called me? You know that I have never in my life asked a teenager, why haven't you called me? Never. Never. That is so unbelievably inappropriate. What is going on here? And you can extrapolate out whatever you like. I'm not saying anything. But Alarm bells are ringing and red flags are being hoisted left, right, and center.
Which got Bieber stuttering and seemingly uneasy, did not end there. Bieber then took out his phone and told Diddy, "I'm going to tell you my number." This interaction highlighted the growing distance between the two, as Bieber's busy schedule and increasing fame made it difficult for him to maintain the same level of contact with Diddy. Despite this, their professional relationship continued, and Bieber was even featured on Diddy's most recent album. Following Diddy's incarceration and indictment, Bieber's relationship with him took on a whole new and dark meaning, with fans speculating on whether the pop star had a horrific experience behind closed doors. It became even more suspicious due to the baby singer's reaction to Diddy's arrest. According to close sources, Bieber refuses to be bothered or fazed by the news as he chooses to focus on his family. It is pertinent to note that he recently welcomed his first child with his wife, Hailey Bieber. Amid Diddy's arrest, he is choosing to focus on his happiness. An insider stated that the award-winning singer was aware of his former mentor's incarceration and all the allegations against him. However, he wants nothing to do with it. More insiders revealed that Bieber was deeply disturbed by the sex trafficking charges, which made him cut himself from the world. Bieber was reportedly thrown by the harrowing allegations while grappling to make sense of it. It was even more worrisome for the singer because of his less than a year collaboration with the accused. The source added that Bieber was not willing to discuss the situation as he had shut off. They went as far as sharing that ever since the Homeland Security raids of Diddy's homes, Bieber hasn't commented. He was also said to be in deep regret over collaborating with Diddy because if he earlier knew about allegations, he would not have gotten involved with him. The close source added that Bieber distanced himself from Diddy a long time ago, within which all the crimes allegedly took place. In the same vein, Justin Bieber's father-in-law, Stephen Baldwin, weighed in on the videos and news circulating about the singer and rapper Diddy. This further added a new layer of mystery because of Baldwin's cryptic approach. Stephen Baldwin posted a cryptic TikTok video that has left fans and followers in a state of curiosity and concern. Baldwin, who has 103,000 followers on the platform, shared a message that many believe is directed at Bieber. "You have heard the expression, the calm before the storm. There's always a calm before the storm, but then there's another calm after the storm. There's a calm and then a storm, and then another calm. And in that latter calm is the preparation for the next storm." Baldwin's words are
Okay, Stephen Baldwin needs to stop. He needs to stop. Okay, these bizarre TikTok videos, these strange statements are not helping anybody. They're not helping anyone. And I know that he's probably bursting at the seams to say more, but he needs to just shut his mouth at this point. Because it's just not helping, and he's just making himself look crazy.
are enigmatic, but they seem to carry a sense of foreboding. Is he warning Justin about the turbulent times ahead, or is he reflecting on the chaos that has already unfolded? The timing of his message, coming right after the news of Diddy's
That's
arrest,
Billy.
suggests that Baldwin is deeply concerned about the impact this will have on his son-in-law. Social media has been abuzz with reactions to Baldwin's cryptic warning. Some believe he is offering a cautionary message, while others think he is trying to protect Justin from further turmoil. The ambiguity of his words has only added to the intrigue surrounding this unfolding story. Another layer of mystery has been added to the whole Diddy and Bieber fracas regarding the viral details of an alleged memoir documented by Diddy's late baby mama, Kim Porter. A floodgate of controversy followed the release of this memoir that has since become a bestseller on Amazon, but the details held a more jarring story. Kim Porter, a name that resonates deeply within the entertainment industry, was much more than just the partner of Sean Diddy, Combs. Born on December 16, 1970 in Columbus, Georgia, Kim was a model, actress, and a devoted mother. Her relationship with Diddy, one of the most influential figures in hip-hop, was both celebrated and scrutinized by the public. Kim and Diddy shared a tumultuous relationship that spanned over a decade. They had 4 children together, Christian and twins Delilah Starr and Jesse James, along with Kim's son Quincy from a previous relationship with singer Al B. Sure, despite their ups and downs, Kim and Diddy remained connected, co-parenting their children and often appearing together at family events. Tragically, Kim Porter passed away on November 15, 2018 at the age of 47.
What 47-year-old woman dies of pneumonia? Now, you know me. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't like to engage in that sort of talk and that sort of thinking. But a lot of people have been side-eyeing this woman's death for many, many years. because it's highly, highly unusual. Let's continue.
Due to complications from pneumonia. Her death left a void in the lives of her loved ones in the entertainment community. However, it seems that Kim had more to say, even after her passing. According to reports, Kim Porter kept a detailed diary, documenting her life and her relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. This diary, saved on a flash drive and given to friends before her death, has now surfaced as an alleged memoir titled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. Published by Los Angeles producer Chris Todd under the pseudonym Jamal T. Millwood, the book has become an Amazon bestseller, revealing shocking and disturbing allegations about Diddy's personal life. The memoir, reportedly composed of diary entries, details a series of explosive claims that have shocked the entertainment industry. One of the initial allegations is that Diddy engaged in child sexual abuse. Kim Porter describes discovering and copying tapes that Combs made of himself having sex with underage boys he was managing. One of these tapes allegedly involved an 18-year-old pop star who later became famous. Porter was horrified by what she found, stating, "The gay parties are one thing, but the young boys and I would have never known." This revelation alone has raised serious questions about Diddy's conduct and the extent of his alleged crimes. Chris Todd, the publisher of the memoir, claims that he was offered access to these alleged sex tapes. He stated, "I was given the memoir, 60 pages. I was also given a photo and told if I wanted access to the Diddy sex tapes, I could have that also." Todd alleges that friends of Porter and Combs who gave him the memoir also had copies of the tapes and that there have been attempts to sell them to Hollywood documentary producers. While the authenticity of these claims has yet to be verified, the memoir has raised serious questions about the circumstances surrounding Diddy's arrest on sex trafficking charges. In July, Kim Porter's close friend Ebony Electra addressed rumors on Instagram, stating that there was no book in progress despite claims that Porter was writing one before her death from pneumonia. Justin Bieber's controversial relationship with Diddy. The story of Justin Bieber and Sean Diddy Combs begins in the late 2000s, a time when Bieber was just a young teenager with dreams of making it big in the music industry. At 15 years old, Bieber's talent was undeniable, and he quickly caught the attention of Usher, who signed him to his record label. Usher, a protege of Diddy, played a crucial role in introducing Bieber to the hip-hop mogul. During an exclusive interview, Usher opened up on how he became in charge of Justin Bieber's early career. It all started in a bidding war with Justin Timberlake. Born on March 1st, 1994, Justin Bieber grew up with a passion for music, teaching himself to play various instruments, including the drums, piano, guitar, and trumpet. His mother, Patty Millette, recognized his talent and began recording his performances, uploading them to YouTube in 2007. These videos, showcasing Justin's soulful voice and impressive musical skills, quickly gained traction. What started as a way to share his talent with family and friends soon turned into a viral sensation. Justin's cover of Ne-Yo's So Sick was particularly popular, amassing thousands of views and catching the attention of music industry professionals. One of those professionals was Scooter Braun, a talent manager who stumbled upon Justin's videos by accident while searching for another artist. Braun was immediately captivated by Justin's raw talent, saw immense potential in the young singer. He knew he had to act fast. Braun tracked down Justin and his mother, and after a successful meeting, he convinced them to move to Atlanta, Georgia to pursue a music career. In Atlanta, Scooter Braun introduced Justin to some of the biggest names in the music industry. One of those names was Usher, a multi-platinum R&B artist with a keen eye for talent. Usher was blown away by Justin's voice and stage presence. He saw a star in the making and knew he had to sign him, but Usher wasn't the only one interested. Around the same time, Justin Timberlake, another music industry heavyweight, also caught wind of Justin Bieber's talent. Timberlake, who had successfully transitioned from a boy band member to a solo superstar, saw an opportunity to mentor and shape the next big thing in music. The stage was set for an epic bidding war between Usher and Justin Timberlake, both determined to sign the young prodigy. Usher and Timberlake both recognized Justin's potential to become a global sensation. They each made their pitches, offering lucrative deals and promising to guide Justin to stardom. The competition was fierce, and both artists pulled out all the stops to win Justin over. The battle for Justin Bieber's signature was about to begin, and the stakes couldn't be higher. As the bidding war between Usher and Justin Timberlake intensified, both music moguls knew they had to bring their A game to secure Justin Bieber's signature. Usher, with his deep roots in R&B and pop music, teamed up with Scooter Braun to form Raymond Braun Media Group, a joint venture that promised to manage Justin's career with precision and expertise. Usher's pitch was compelling. He offered Justin not just a record deal, but a comprehensive plan to develop his talent and navigate the complexities of the music industry. Usher's experience, combined with Braun's managerial acumen, made for a formidable team. They promised to provide Justin with the resources, mentorship, and industry connections needed to become a global superstar. On the other side, Justin Timberlake, who had successfully transitioned from a boy band member to a solo icon, presented his own unique offer. Timberlake's pitch was equally enticing, emphasizing his first-hand experience in the music industry and his ability to guide Justin through the highs and lows of fame.
I really do wonder, given what NSYNC went through with Lou Pearlman, I wonder how different things would have been if Justin Timberlake had taken, if Justin Bieber had taken Justin Timberlake's offer and not Usher's and Scooter Braun's. I have to ask myself that. Because the NSYNC story was a very, very sad one. A very sad one indeed. And the way that they were cheated and ripped off. But that doesn't mean that just because you were cheated and ripped off, that you are going to be any more honest in your business dealings with subsequent artists. There's no guarantee there. The music business is garbage. It is horrible. And it's not a business that such a young kid should be going into, especially not unsupervised. No parental supervision of any kind. What is this?
Timberlake's success story was a testament to his understanding.
Because if there's one thing that you can say about Lance Bass and about Justin Timberlake, their mothers had a very, very strong presence in their careers, in their lives. Now, obviously, these women were not very business savvy when it came to the music business, which is how Lou Pearlman managed to rip everybody off to the extent that he did. And boy, did he rip them off. The millions that he stole from NSYNC and his other bands. Unbelievable. An abusive, disgusting, degenerate man. But let's continue.
Understanding of the industry, and he promised to share that knowledge with Justin. The decision was not an easy one for Justin and his mother, Patty Mallet. Both Usher and Timberlake had impressive credentials and could offer invaluable guidance. The stakes were incredibly high, and the pressure was mounting. After much deliberation, they ultimately decided to go with Usher and Scooter Braun, believing that their combined expertise would provide the best path forward for Justin's career. In 2008, Justin Bieber officially signed with Raymond Braun Media Group, marking the beginning of his meteoric rise to fame. Industry members claimed that Usher had a more sinister reason for signing Bieber. According to American rapper Jaguar Wright, Usher got close to Bieber and signed him on behalf of Diddy.
Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours.
Jaguar, who had been calling Diddy out for years, shared her take in a resurfaced TikTok video. She revealed that Diddy had been struggling to get hold of the young Bieber, but Usher stepped in, gained management of the pop star, and handed him over to Diddy for 48 hours.
48
Jaguar
hours.
went on to reflect on Usher's own experience as a young boy, who was mentored by Diddy and lived with him for 1 year. She referenced Gene Deal, who claimed to have witnessed how Diddy groomed Usher. One particularly disturbing incident linked to this claim was Usher admitting to witnesses curious things when he lived with Diddy. In an old interview with Howard Stern, the music star reflected on how he was sent to Diddy's Puffy's flavored camp, where he saw the lifestyle he did not think he would ever indulge in. He noted that he witnessed wild moments that he did not understand. Usher added that his parents never knew what was going on. When asked if he would ever let his own child go to live with Diddy, Usher vehemently kicked against it. In 1994, Usher released his self-titled debut album, Usher.
Wait, let's go back. Oh, went back too far. Look at that. Look at that face. What parent allows a child this age to go live with a grown fucking man for a year? And what parent would turn guardianship over to another grown man? Look, you guys know that when I covered entertainment, I interviewed quite a few stars who had made it as kids, as teenagers. And for every Jodie Foster and every Ron Howard, or the kids who acted in the Steven Spielberg movies, there are hundreds of others who were eaten up, chewed up, and spit out by the machine in Hollywood, abused, sexually abused, financially abused, exploited by unscrupulous, disgusting adults. And I will never forget the interview that I did with Leif Garrett, which was one of the saddest interviews I have ever conducted, and how he told the story about his mother and how his mother was like the quintessential stage mother, and how Leif Garrett made it in the 1970s when Tiger Beat and Teen Beat were like the big thing, and how they kind of manufactured this image for him that was totally at odds with the way he saw himself, and how they did photo shoots where he was in a bathtub, and exactly like what they did to Brooke Shields. The same thing that happened to Brooke Shields when she was 13 or 12, I think. And there were a lot of things that happened to Leif Garrett that resulted in him developing a raging drug problem. And when I interviewed Leif Garrett, he was a broken man. And we can all sit around and gawk at shows like Behind the Music and look at somebody whose life has been utterly destroyed by the entertainment business, and we can kind of like rubberneck and then move on. But that interview stayed with me. It stayed with me. The damage that was done to Leif Garrett when he was 16 years old was significant. And he didn't go into great detail about what had happened to him, but it was significant enough that it stretched out into his adult life, and it ruined his life. And he was very upfront about describing, or he was very candid about that his life was completely destroyed because of his mother, and because of the greed of the adults who were around him, and because when you have a child and you turn that child into the main breadwinner for the family, the sense of responsibility that they carry with them is incredibly unfair. And it's a burden that no child that age should have to carry with them. And this business about guardianship is so shady and so suspect. Let's continue. But look at how young he was. Look at that. Who would send a kid this age to go live with Puff Daddy for a year? Who would do that?
2004, Usher released his self-titled debut album, Usher, executive produced by Sean Diddy Combs. The album showcased Usher's vocal prowess and set the stage for his future success. But behind the scenes, a significant chapter of his life was about to unfold. To further develop his artistry, Usher's mother made a bold decision. She sent her teenage son to live with Diddy in New York City.
Unbelievable.
This move was intended to immerse Usher in the heart of the music industry and provide him with invaluable mentorship from one of its biggest names. Living with Diddy was a transformative experience for young Usher.
Yeah, I'll bet it was. Imagine living with Diddy for a year when you're a teenager. And this is exactly why I say that if R. Kelly walked free today, knowing what we know about him, there would be throngs of parents throwing their daughters at him to make them into stars. They wouldn't give a damn about his past. They wouldn't give a fuck about anything, the exploitation of young girls, nothing. Because some parents are so ambitious that they don't give a damn what they have to do or what they have to put their kids through in order to make it. And Usher has a story to tell, I'll bet.
Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at.
Diddy's mansion in New York was a hub of activity, frequented by celebrities, musicians, and industry moguls. It was a world of luxury, excess, and constant excitement. Usher's words hint at the surreal and often bewildering experiences he encountered while living with Diddy. The mansion was a place where anything could happen, and often did. Diddy's influence on Usher extended beyond the glitz and glamour. He exposed Usher to the inner workings of the music industry, teaching him the importance of branding, image, and business acumen. These lessons would prove invaluable as Usher's career progressed, but the environment was not without its challenges. Usher was thrust into a world of adult themes and behaviors at a very young age. He witnessed parties that were anything but ordinary, with scenes that could shock even the most seasoned industry veterans. Speaking about his experience in 2004, Usher shared with Rolling Stone, "There were always girls around. You'd open a door and see somebody doing it or several people in a room having an orgy. You never knew what was going to happen." These experiences were a stark contrast to Usher's upbringing and forced him to grow up quickly. The young artist had to navigate a world filled with temptations and moral ambiguities, all while trying to establish his own identity. While Bieber seemingly distanced himself from Diddy as his career blossomed, Usher appeared to remain close to the rapper. However, a few days after Diddy's indictment became public knowledge, Usher's X account was mysteriously wiped clean of any content and tweets. The singer later took to the platform claiming that his account was hacked. Shocking.
Yeah, bullshit. What a conveniently timed hack. You see that a lot of these people who were close to Puff Daddy or Diddy or whatever, a lot of their accounts have come down, or a lot of their content has come down. A lot of their tweets have come down. I wonder why. A lot of people getting hacked, I guess. What a coincidence.
Takeaways from Diddy's legal woes. From his early days as a producer and rapper to becoming a business mogul, Diddy has always been in the spotlight. However, the recent indictment has cast a dark shadow over his illustrious career. The charges include sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
Now, I will say this, and this is something that needs to be pointed out. There are no accusations in the indictment of any crime involving children. There's nothing there. Now, somebody had pointed out that you may remember that when Diddy realized that the feds were going to raid his home, that he got on a plane and he flew off somewhere, right? And there was some speculation that he took all those hard drives and all those flash drives and all the evidence and he dumped them somewhere, or he handed them off to an employee. Again, we don't know if that's true. We have no idea. And if Kim Porter or Kim Porter's people were shopping around footage and evidence that he, in fact, exploited children, well, either the feds haven't gotten a hold of it yet, or maybe it didn't exist. We don't know. We don't know. But there is no mention in the indictments of any crime involving children. Let's continue.
These allegations have sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and beyond. The indictment, spanning 14 pages, paints a disturbing picture of a man who allegedly used his power, influence, and resources to exploit and abuse vulnerable individuals. According to the documents, the abuse was widespread and deeply disturbing. Diddy reportedly manipulated women to have sex with male sex workers while he watched and sometimes recorded the acts during what he called freak-offs. These events were elaborate, multi-day sex performances that Diddy arranged, directed, and often recorded. The indictment claims that from at least 2009 and for years after, Diddy assaulted multiple women by striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them.
Look at
One
that.
particularly shocking incident occurred at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. Diddy allegedly kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she attempted to leave. This incident was captured on video, and when hotel security noticed the assault, Diddy allegedly attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure their silence.
Of course.
From at least 2008 until the filing of the indictment, Diddy and his associates are accused of being members of a criminal organization as part of Combs' enterprise. The indictment alleges that Diddy's high-ranking members engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Diddy is accused of using kidnapping and arson as forms of violence to threaten people. He and his team allegedly engaged in acts of violence, threats of financial and reputational harm, and verbal abuse. The indictment also details how Diddy exhibited control over his victims through physical violence and promises of career opportunities. He allegedly tracked victims' locations, monitored their medical records, and dictated their appearance. He also supplied them with drugs and threatened their careers and livelihoods if they didn't participate in the freak-offs. Diddy used recordings made of victims during the freak-offs as blackmail and collateral to bend them to his will. During dramatic raids on Diddy's properties in Miami and Los Angeles in March, federal authorities reportedly seized dozens of freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Authorities also uncovered 3 AR-15 rifles with defaced serial numbers and ammunition.
That's
Diddy's
a problem.
associates often aided in keeping his abuse a secret. In one instance, they required a victim to remain in hiding for several days to recover from injuries Diddy inflicted. In Cassie's lawsuit filed against Diddy last November, she claimed she would be hidden away after Diddy beat her. As part of the racketeering charge against him, Diddy is accused of drug possession. The charges include possession with intent to distribute certain narcotics such as cocaine, oxycodone, alprazolam, MDMA, a synthetic psychedelic drug called Nexus, GHB, and ketamine. In 2023, as reports of Diddy's alleged crimes began to spread, he reportedly harassed victims and pressured witnesses through bribery to stay silent and not cooperate with law enforcement. Diddy often tried to call and provide victims with a false narrative of events to cover up his crimes. Two of those.
And is it any surprise then that Justin Bieber has kept so silent? And why Stephen Baldwin's bullshit is not helpful? It's not helpful. What needs to be happening now, and I hope what's happening now, is that Justin Bieber is getting a lot of help, because there is no question that he's going to be called to testify in this trial. Now, it's true, or as was stated, he had left Diddy's orbit long before all of this started, and he was only with him for 48 hours. However, something happened in those 48 hours. Convince me that I'm wrong. Why is it that there is so much secrecy surrounding the 48 hours that Justin Bieber spent with Diddy in New York? What is so hush hush about that? If everything was on the up and up, why don't they just come forward and say, "Oh, we did this, we did that. It was no big deal." Why is it that to this day we have no idea of what happened in those 48 hours that Justin Bieber was basically pawned off on Diddy in New York? I swear to God, this is one of the darkest stories I have covered in years. It is so dark, it is pitch black, it is disgusting, it makes me sick, and I worry on behalf of all of the young people that he got his clutches on in all those years that he was engaging in this behavior. And if it is in fact true that there are people who have come forward and said that they were exploited when they were as young as 9 years old, I hope it's not true. I hope it's not true, but something tells me that we are about to have a giant Pandora's box pried open, and what we are going to discover is going to be extremely, extremely ugly.
Those phone calls were allegedly recorded. The indictment's details are deeply disturbing and have already begun to tarnish Diddy's reputation. The image of a successful, self-made entrepreneur and philanthropist is now marred by accusations of sex trafficking, racketeering, and abuse. If found guilty, Diddy could face significant prison time, effectively ending his career and dismantling the empire he has built over the past 30 years. The impact of these allegations extends beyond Diddy himself. The music industry, which has long been plagued by issues of exploitation and abuse, is once again under scrutiny. The indictment highlights the dark side of an industry where power dynamics can be easily manipulated to exploit vulnerable individuals. It serves as a stark reminder that the glitz and glamour of the entertainment world often hide a much more sinister reality. The music industry has seen its fair share of scandals, but the allegations against Diddy are particularly shocking given his status and influence. This case could prompt a broader reckoning within the industry, leading to increased scrutiny of powerful figures and their actions. It may also encourage more victims to come forward and share their stories.
You know what? All I can say is it's about goddamn time. It's about goddamn time that Me Too typhoon hit the music business. I have been waiting for this for years. I have been waiting for this to happen, and I had a sneaking suspicion that once the Me Too movement finally hit the music industry, it was going to hit hip-hop first. And it just goes to show you, Cat Williams has been talking about this for years. 50 Cent has been talking about it for years. Wendy Williams, for years people knew. For years, but obviously people were too afraid of Diddy to come forward and make statements or say anything definitive. Cat Williams came forward and he said something, and everybody said that he was out of his mind. Eminem spoke about it, right? But it's about fucking time, is all I can say.
Further exposing the systemic issues that have long been ignored or covered up. Crime has tainted the legendary careers of several rappers, and Diddy is the latest public figure to be brought to book. Click other cards to see more eye-opening details and developing stories as his legal woes unfold. In the case of Sean Diddy Combs, karma might just be a battle-tested boomerang that comes right back at you. It is safe to say that the sinister details of the rapper's longtime freak-off parties have heavily backfired on him. The label boss's creepy dealings took center stage in his ongoing legal woes that started as a butterfly effect in November 2023. And oh, it does get worse. Diddy's parties weren't just wild freak-offs.
I think half the people there were butt naked.
The FBI's latest revelations will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the hip-hop mogul's infamous bashes. Grim tales of Diddy's freak-offs. A few days after the embattled Bad Boy Records boss Sean Diddy Combs was apprehended by law enforcement at his hotel in New York,
Wow.
the FBI swung into action with a series of legally backed reports concerning his clandestine affairs, violence, and RICO standard activities. This comes many months after Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura, and former producer Lil Rod, among many others, accused him of sexual misconduct, domestic violence, and inappropriate behavior. In the 14-page indictment levied against Diddy, federal authorities outlined and highlighted charges including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transporting for prostitution. However, this barely scratched the surface as Diddy's famous freak-offs took center stage as the medium with which he and his cohorts indulged in levels of hedonism that will leave you shell-shocked. The allegations revealed a pattern of abuse and criminal activity that spanned over a decade. The indictment alleges that Diddy, along with his associates, engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. The charges include manipulating women to participate in freak-offs, elaborate sex parties involving multiple commercial sex workers, and using physical violence, drugs, and threats to control his victims. As the investigation continued, more disturbing details emerged. Diddy allegedly orchestrated these freak-offs with meticulous planning, booking hotel rooms, stocking them with controlled substances, and recording the encounters. The indictment paints a grim picture of a man who used his power and influence to exploit and abuse those around him. The impact on the victims was devastating. In the indictment, Diddy was exposed for how he allegedly manipulated women to engage in sex acts with male sex workers while he watched and sometimes recorded the encounters. He is accused of using physical violence, drugs, and threats to control his victims. From striking and punching to dragging and kicking, the abuse was relentless. One particularly disturbing incident occurred in March 2016 at a Los Angeles hotel, where Diddy was caught on video kicking, dragging, and throwing a vase at a woman attempting to leave. Though the indictment does not name singer Cassie, it is widely believed that she was one of Diddy's victims. In her lawsuit filed last November, Cassie claimed that Diddy would hide her away after beating her. The indictment corroborates this, stating that Diddy's associates often required victims to remain in hiding for several days to recover from injuries inflicted by Combs.
Imagine.
The evidence against Diddy is extensive. The indictment accuses him of drug possession with intent to distribute, including cocaine, oxycodone, alprazolam, MDMA, Nexus, GHB, and ketamine. This draws us back to early 2024 when federal agents upped the level of investigation on Diddy, ransacking some of his mansions. The raid rocked the music world and the internet at large. On a bright Miami morning, federal agents arrived at Diddy's sprawling mansion, armed with search warrants and a mission to uncover the truth. The opulent estate, known for its grandeur and luxury, was about to become the epicenter of a sensational investigation. As agents made their way through the front gates, they were met with the sight of marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and priceless artwork. But their focus was on something far more significant. The search began in Diddy's private office, a room filled with mahogany furniture and state-of-the-art technology. Behind a massive desk, agents discovered a hidden safe. After a few tense moments, the safe was opened, revealing stacks of cash totaling over $1 million. Alongside the money, they found a collection of rare and valuable jewelry, including diamond-encrusted watches and custom-made chains. Moving to the master bedroom, agents encountered a walk-in closet that could rival any high-end boutique. Designer clothes, shoes, and accessories filled the space, but a hidden compartment at the back of the closet caught their attention. Inside, they found a stash of high-end firearms, including several handguns and semi-automatic rifles, each meticulously maintained and stored in custom cases as a collection of surveillance equipment. Cameras, microphones, and recording devices were all neatly organized, suggesting that Diddy had been keeping a close eye on his surroundings. Authorities also confiscated other unbelievable freak-off supplies, including narcotics, lubricants, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil. During the raids, authorities uncovered 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers and ammunition. Diddy...
That's a problem. That's a problem, too. With the serial numbers had been tampered with on the weapons. This guy is going to go to jail for life. He's not getting out ever. It's done. It's over for him. And so far, I think 120 potential victims have come forward, new ones, and it's just the first day. This is just within the first few hours of that press conference that happened at, I believe, 1 p.m. today. Where there was a call by a lawyer for victims to come forward. And it's early days. It's just the first day of this this call for new people to come forward.
Allegedly used these weapons and drugs to exert control over his victims, tracking their locations, monitoring their medical records, and dictating their appearance. As reports of Diddy's alleged crimes began to spread in 2023, he reportedly harassed victims and pressured witnesses through bribery to stay silent and not cooperate with law enforcement.
Right, and that is allegedly the reason that that Bryan Singer has never faced justice. Bryan Singer is known in Hollywood, allegedly, for opening up a checkbook. Every time a new victim comes forward, he just pays them off, makes them shut up, go away. So will Bryan Singer ever, be tried? Will he be extradited and tried? I have absolutely no idea, but I would love to see Bryan Singer in the dock. And like I said before, I would love to see Dan Schneider in the dock as well. But who would testify against him? Would Amanda Bynes testify against him? Would Ariana Grande testify against him? Who would come forward to testify against Dan Schneider? I don't know. Amanda Bynes would be written off as a nut, right? Nobody would take her seriously, or people would try to, destroy her credibility because of her mental health. It's an ugly, ugly business.
Diddy often called victims, providing them with a false narrative of events to cover up his crimes. 2 of these phone calls were allegedly recorded, adding to the mounting evidence against him. The indictment also implicates Diddy's high-ranking associates within Combs Enterprise. They are accused of being part of a criminal organization engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution.
Wow, imagine that one of the charges is a violation of the Mann Act. I haven't seen the Mann Act invoked since Elliot Spitzer got in trouble for the same reason when he was governor of New York. Incredible. But, okay. And for those of you who don't know, the Mann Act is an act that makes it illegal to transport somebody across state lines for sexual purposes.
Narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. While this is an extensive revelation from authorities, industry members like Jaguar Wright have been vocal about Diddy's hidden affairs.
These is wild. They pay big to do damage and procure victims.
The coordinated efforts of Diddy's associates ensured that his criminal activities remained hidden for years. The public reaction has been intense, with fans, celebrities, and industry insiders expressing a mix of shock, disbelief, and outrage. Social media platforms have been flooded with comments and discussions as people grapple with the disturbing allegations against one of the most influential figures in music. The broader implications of the indictment extend beyond Diddy himself. The case has reignited conversations about the abuse of power and exploitation within the music industry. It has drawn parallels to other high-profile cases, such as those involving R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein, highlighting the pervasive issue of sexual misconduct and abuse in positions of power. The indictment serves as a stark reminder that no one is above the law and that victims' voices must be heard and taken seriously. For the music industry, the indictment has prompted a reckoning. Artists, executives, and fans are calling for greater accountability and transparency.
And I hope that every single one of them is shaking in their boots. I hope that Jay-Z and Beyonce are terrified right now. All of them. All of them. Every single one of them. They may not have procured girls. They may not have been involved at that level. But I think we all know, right?
Transparency. There is a growing demand for systemic changes to prevent such abuses from occurring in the future. The case against Diddy has underscored the need for robust safeguards and support systems to protect vulnerable individuals within the industry. In response to the indictment, Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, issued a statement vehemently denying the allegations. He described the prosecution as unjust and urged the public to reserve judgment until all the facts were presented in court.
Imagine how serious these charges were that they denied bail in New York. Imagine. No bail. He is sitting right now in one of the worst prisons in New York, or one of the worst jails in New York. I hear that it's quite a hellhole, where he is, of course, in protective custody. But still, this guy has his work cut out for him.
Niffolo emphasized Diddy's contributions to the music industry, his philanthropic efforts, and his role as a loving family man. He insisted that Diddy is an imperfect person, but not a criminal, and expressed confidence that his client would be exonerated. Diddy's legal team has vowed to fight like hell for his release, and the music mogul himself has remained cooperative with the investigation. He voluntarily relocated to New York in anticipation of the charges, signaling his willingness to face the legal battle head-on. However, the gravity of the allegations and the extensive evidence presented in the indictment have cast a long shadow over his once sterling reputation. Creepy purpose of Diddy's businesses and his parties. The investigations and staggering revelations in Sean Diddy Combs' latest indictment did not just cast the spotlight on his involvement in organized crime. It also sheds light on the method and mode with which the rapper and his inner circle operated. This mode of operation heavily involved his various successful businesses, which were all listed in the legal documents. Diddy rose to fame in the 1990s as a record executive, producer, and rapper. He founded Bad Boy Records, launching the careers of iconic artists like the Notorious Big, Faith Evans, and Mace. His entrepreneurial spirit extended beyond music, with ventures in fashion, spirits, and media.
Didn't he once say that Biggie was worth more to him dead than alive? Isn't that a quote of Puff Daddy's, of Puffy's, of Biggie, of whatever, of Diddy's? Sorry. Didn't he say that? And didn't that raise a lot of eyebrows? I wonder what we're going to find out about that in the coming months.
Amassing a fortune and solidifying his status as a cultural icon. However, beneath all that success story and the semblance of the American dream, Diddy's various enterprises served more sinister purposes. The indictment listed these businesses as Bad Boy Entertainment, Comb Enterprises, and Combs Global. While all these seemed normal on the surface, they shrouded organized crimes under the umbrella name Comb Enterprises. This conglomerate of businesses, also known as the Enterprise, included a leadership, members, and associates, although this was not a legal entity. The enterprise, which reportedly operated in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, was engaged in interstate and foreign commerce activities. Primarily, these commercial activities were labeled unlawful. Individuals involved in the enterprise included Combs' business employees, such as security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors. Amid all of these, the Combs enterprise had a nefarious purpose.
I swear to God, if I were one of the people involved in one of his businesses at a high level, I would be turning state's evidence yesterday. I would be going to the FBI and the district attorney on my knees offering to give information. Because it looks bad, you guys.
As stated in the documents, the enterprise includes entertainment, lifestyle industries, television networks, and media companies. On a deeper level, Combs' enterprise staff and associates were there to protect and aid his unscrupulous activities. Their goals were all about fulfilling Diddy's personal desires, particularly his uncanny sexual gratification of exploiting women and sex workers. Members of the enterprise enabled the star rapper's sexual violence, weird enticement to engage in prostitution, and concealing all these acts. You might be wondering why Diddy's affairs were not exposed long ago. Well, the music mogul had his way with coercion. He was known for commanding loyalty in his inner circle of staff through violence and threats. Everyone in his syndicate worked hand in hand to prevent detection and prosecution by law enforcement. They would manipulate, bribe, and threaten retaliation against individuals who witnessed the crimes committed. What were the means and methods with which Combs' enterprise displayed its activities? The rapper and those the document described as Combs' enterprise associates wielded power and prestige enough to threaten and lure female victims into their den of crime. This was reportedly done under the guise of romantic relationships. Combs will then proceed to use force and threats of force to make victims engage in sexual acts with male sex workers. These often happened during the freak-off parties. To set the stage for this series of sex parties, these events were meticulously planned, with Diddy's staff members booking hotel rooms and stocking them with controlled substances.
And apparently, blackmail was a big part of this racket that he was running. And as I recall, that was also part of Epstein's business plan, the blackmail, because, I mean, Epstein's circle included members of the crowned heads of Europe, royal families in Arab countries, arms dealers, high-ranking politicians. So when people, talk about, who would have had Epstein, bumped off in prison, and people were like, it was Hillary Clinton who did it. Listen, do you know how many people wanted that man dead? Do you have any idea of how many incredibly dangerous people he was doing business with and how many people he was blackmailing at once. There were a lot of people who had the kind of power and money to reach into a prison and have him, commit suicide under mysterious circumstances, get the cameras turned off, all of that.
Substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and specialized lighting. Diddy's associates played a crucial role in facilitating these freak-offs. They were responsible for ensuring the rooms were prepared and cleaned after the events to mitigate any damage.
You send someone ahead to prepare the hotel room for you.
That's called preparing the sexy.
Once, in an old interview with Conan O'Brien, Diddy infamously alluded to his freaky parties by admitting to specially preparing hotel rooms for his arrival. Diddy's freak-offs were frequent, often lasting multiple days at a stretch, and they often involved multiple sex workers. In the heat of the moment, the rapper would distribute an array of controlled substances, partly to keep them obedient and in compliance. During the freak-offs and at separate times, Diddy was up to all levels of violence with victims, from hauling objects to hitting, kicking, and dragging victims by their hair. Unknown to the victims, the father of 7 also filmed and kept videos of the sex acts. When the events finally ended, Diddy would join the victims in receiving IV fluids to recover from the physical strain and excessive drug use.
Imagine that the parties were so extreme that the victims would have to get IVs to recover from the drug use and the strain and the violence of these parties.
Diddy's associates would often take over from here, making sure to resupply freak-off items and delivering huge sums of cash to pay sex workers. The rapper continuously had a strong hold on his victims through promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, tracking their whereabouts, dictating victims' looks, controlling their private lives, and monitoring their medical records.
Have any of the girls who were in Danity Kane ever said anything? It just occurred to me that he was so hands-on with that show and that project. Have any of those girls come forward and said anything? Because this guy has sort of faded in and out of my awareness over the past couple of decades. I don't follow him. I don't keep up with him. I'm just curious to know. And given all of this, you would have to be out of your goddamn mind to turn a kid over to this man. Why would you do that? Oh, I know, because you're greedy and ambitious, and you're using your kid as a way to fulfill your frustrated desires and ambitions to be a performer. Absolutely vile.
The fashion designer's staff members and associates often carried firearms, and on several occasions, Diddy carried and brandished firearms to intimidate victims and witnesses to his abuse. Sometimes his cohorts witnessed moments when he got violent with victims and turned a blind eye. Instead, these associates helped Diddy conceal the violence by monitoring and stopping victims from leaving certain locations. Sometimes they were forced into hiding until the injuries were healed. Diddy's staff members were also hands-on in finding victims who attempted to escape his abuse.
Amazing.
Not every one of Diddy's enterprise members was complacent to his dastardly acts, but it did not end well for them. According to the part of the indictment labeled as methods and means of the enterprise, witnesses and employees who challenged Diddy were subjected to terrible conditions, including reputational harm, verbal abuse, threats against finances, and on an extreme level, kidnapping and arson. This heavily reflects on the racketeering charges against him, where Diddy was reportedly involved in multiple acts of arson, kidnapping, bribery, and illegal sexual activity.
Wow, okay.
It was in fact a part of the Combs Enterprise Code of Conduct that associates and members commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity. These victims were convinced that they could not decline the rapper's requests without risking their lives, finances, job security, and emotional repercussions. Diddy displayed physical violence, leaving behind injuries that took days and weeks to heal. This brings to mind Cassie Ventura's explosive lawsuits and the details of her experience when she dated him and was signed to his record label. According to Cassie's lawsuit, filed in November 2023, her relationship with Diddy was marred by years of abuse and manipulation. The lawsuit detailed numerous instances of alleged sexual and physical assault, painting a disturbing picture of their time together. Cassie claimed that Diddy would often force her into sexual acts against her will, using his power and influence to control her. She alleged that Diddy would physically assault her, leaving her with bruises and other injuries. The lawsuit also highlighted the psychological toll that the alleged alleged abuse took on Cassie, with claims that Diddy would isolate her from her friends and family, making her feel trapped and alone. The allegations in the lawsuit were not limited to physical and sexual abuse. Cassie also accused Diddy of financial manipulation, claiming that he would control her finances and use money as a means of control. She alleged that Diddy would withhold money from her, making it difficult for her to leave the relationship and support herself.
That is an incredibly brave girl. Can I just say that? Imagine having the guts to sue this man and to get all of this out on the record. That is incredible. It's very rare. Amazing.
Events leading up to the lawsuit were a culmination of years of alleged abuse and control. Cassie claimed that she had tried to leave Diddy multiple times, but was met with threats and intimidation. She alleged that Diddy would use his influence in the industry to sabotage her career and make it difficult for her to find work. Despite the challenges, Cassie eventually found the strength to speak out and seek justice. In the same vein, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a former producer and videographer for Diddy, filed a separate 73-page lawsuit against the rapper detailing a can of worms and how he was also allegedly sexually abused. Jones claimed that Diddy sexually harassed, drugged, and threatened him. Jones said these incidents were not isolated, but part of a broader pattern of illegal activities. He alleged that Diddy and his team were involved in drug trafficking, sex trafficking, soliciting sex workers, providing laced drinks to minors, and sexual assault. Jones's lawsuit was not just about seeking justice for himself. He aimed to expose what he described as a culture of corruption within Diddy's inner circle. Jones alleged that Diddy used his influence and resources to engage in and cover up illegal activities. He claimed that those who dared to speak out were silenced through threats and intimidation. As the lawsuit unfolded, the specific allegations made by Rodney Jones against Sean Diddy Combs and other notable figures came to light, painting a disturbing picture of the alleged activities within Diddy's circle. One of the most shocking revelations was the involvement of Oscar-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Jones claimed that in January 2023, Diddy introduced him to Gooding on the rapper's yacht in the Virgin Islands. According to Jones, Diddy suggested that Gooding get to know him better and then left the two men alone in a makeshift studio. Once alone, Jones alleged that Gooding sexually harassed and assaulted him, touching, groping, and fondling his legs.
Oh, not Cuba Gooding Jr., no.
Her inner thighs, back, and shoulders. The City Girls rapper and Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Young Miami, also played a significant role in Jones's lawsuit. The pair were initially linked in 2021, but were never exclusive. The most serious claim about Young Miami, whose legal name is Caresha Romeka Brownlee, was that she transported a drug called Tucci across state lines for Diddy. Tucci is described as a pink drug that is a combination of ecstasy and cocaine. Jones also claimed that Young Miami was one of the women who were paid a monthly fee to work as Diddy's sex workers. Additionally, Jones alleged that Young Miami's cousin sexually assaulted him in 2022. She allegedly burst into the bathroom and began groping Jones on Thanksgiving Day. Young Miami was not the only woman named in the suit as one of Diddy's sex workers. Jones listed both Daphne Joy Cervantes Narvaez, known as Daphne Joy, and Jade Ramey, known as Jade, as two of the other women who allegedly received a monthly stipend from Diddy. Daphne Joy, an OnlyFans model, dated 50 Cent from 2011 to 2012, and the two share a son. According to Jones, on one occasion last year, Young Miami got on a plane to bring drugs to Diddy. Jones personally witnessed Diddy doing a few lines of coke in his dressing room during rehearsals for the Something in the Water Festival in Virginia. When Diddy wanted Tucci, but his assistant Brendan forgot it, Christina Coram called Young Miami, who then brought it on a private jet from Miami. Coram has explicitly been labeled as Diddy's very own Ghislaine Maxwell, in reference to Jeffrey Epstein's infamous lawsuit and controversies. Jones claimed that Coram instructed her staff to retrieve drugs so she could provide them to Diddy for his consumption. According to the complaint, Coram required Diddy's employees, including housekeepers and the chef, to carry a pouch containing cocaine, GHB, ecstasy, marijuana gummies, and Tutsi, so that Diddy's drug of choice was immediately ready when he asked for it. Jones stated that he was forced to carry one of these pouches against his will on multiple occasions. Jones also claimed that Coram instructed Diddy's son, Justin Combs, to solicit prostitutes, underage girls, and sex workers. In response to these eye-opening lawsuits from Jones, Diddy's lawyer, Sean Hawley, issued a strong statement denying all of the allegations and claimed to have overwhelming, indisputable proof that his claims were complete lies. This firm denial aimed to discredit Jones's accusations and reassure Diddy's fans and business associates. Similarly, a representative for Justin Combs, Diddy's son, told TMZ there would be legal consequences for all defamatory statements about the Combs family. What's next for Diddy as doom looms? For starters, following the unsealing of the 14-page indictment, Diddy's lawyers failed in their appeal of a judge's decision to get him bailed. While the rapper's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, revealed that he would repeal the ruling, the judge in charge said that there were no conditions that reduced the risk of witness tampering or obstruction.
Wow.
Although Diddy pleaded not guilty, the path has been outlined for a series of legal decisions on his case. He faces a sentence of up to life in prison if convicted of the racketeering conspiracy charges. The sex trafficking charge comes with a statutory minimum of 15 years. Experts also weighed in on the rapper's case, noting how he remains in federal custody. According to Damian Williams, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York who brought the indictment, anything is possible regarding Diddy facing the consequences of his crime alone or sharing the charges with other accomplices. It was also projected that the prosecution would likely deal with witnesses with a rough past or those admitting to engaging in criminal activities with Diddy. Furthermore, the Kyrock founder will potentially face more accusations because investigations remain active and ongoing. Authorities issued a public call for any potential victim to come forward. In the case of Diddy's associates and staff members mentioned several times in the lawsuit, the situation could lead to them becoming key witnesses. There are deductions that the absence of other accomplices behind bars could be an indication that they were cooperating with the prosecution. This brings focus to the probability that some of Diddy's co-conspirators could have been victims of violence because he secured loyalty through acts of violence and threat.
I am telling you, the first thing that I would have done when I saw this hammer coming down, I would have run to the district attorney's office. I would have run to the FBI to turn state's evidence. Run, not walked. Run.
The ripple effects of the investigations extend to Combs' various business ventures. His record label, Bad Boy Records, could suffer as artists and collaborators might choose to dissociate themselves from the brand. The uncertainty surrounding Combs' legal status could deter new talent from signing with the label.
Oh, no
stunting
kidding.
its growth and
What
diminishing
label?
its influence in the music industry. Existing artists might seek to terminate their contracts, fearing that the label's reputation could harm their careers. Combs' ventures in fashion, such as his Sean John clothing line, could also be at risk. The fashion industry is highly sensitive to public perception, and any association with legal troubles can be detrimental. Retailers might pull his products from their shelves, and consumers could boycott the brand, leading to...
Listen, I mean, in the fashion industry already, all these luxury labels, with very, very few exceptions, are really facing a bad patch right now. From Burberry to Dior to Chanel, all of them are really in trouble. The Chinese market has dried up. Sales are way, way down in China, which is a huge market for these luxury brands. Nobody needs this kind of headache. Not a single brand wants to be associated with this shit show. No way.
To a decline in sales. The financial strain on his fashion business could be significant, potentially forcing him to downsize or even shutter operations. The impact on Combs' career as an entertainer is equally profound. His ability to secure new projects, endorsements, and collaborations could be severely hampered. The entertainment industry is notoriously fickle, and the cloud of legal trouble can make Combs a less attractive option for producers, directors, and other industry professionals. His public appearances and performances might be overshadowed by questions about the investigations, detracting from his ability to connect with his audience. As the legal proceedings continue, the focus remains on the victims and their pursuit of justice. Their courage in coming forward has shed light on the dark underbelly of an industry that often prioritizes fame and fortune over accountability. The outcome of the case will have far-reaching consequences, not only for Diddy, but for the music industry and society as a whole. The world watches closely as the case against Sean Diddy Combs unfolds. The indictment has revealed a disturbing pattern of abuse and exploitation, challenging the public's perception of a beloved music icon. As the truth comes to light, it is a stark reminder that justice must prevail, and that the voices of the victims must be heard and respected. Crime has tainted the legendary careers of several rappers, and Diddy is the latest public figure to be brought to book. Apparently, Kevin Hart couldn't keep the shocking things he saw at Diddy's party to himself amid the music mogul's sex trafficking allegations. From guests setting their heads on fire to Diddy secretly taking compromising videos of everyone, Kevin's expose reveals the darkest moments of Diddy's freak-offs. Over the years, there have been several rumors about the debauchery that goes down in Diddy's secret parties, but no one has been able to get their hands on any real footage until now. Kevin Hart spilled the beans, and we are going to share details about this exclusive video.
All right, and I have something to say about the parties, okay? As far as the parties are concerned and all this craziness with the baby oil and whatever, I'm afraid to break the news that this is not an exclusive bit of Diddy degeneracy. It isn't. This is widespread in the music business. The difference here, obviously, is the blackmail, the coercion, the violence, the kidnapping, all of that. That is, you know, I mean, unfortunately for Diddy, he was the one who was caught, but I guarantee you that there are a lot of people in that business, and not just in hip hop, by the way, who are shaking in their goddamn boots right now, as well they should be.
Yo, what the did Puff just say?
Shocking reveal from Diddy's freak-offs.
I just got
This is what I'm going to do, because I think they never been to a Diddy party. If you not dancing,
I just got hard.
The internet was set ablaze with the recent emergence of footage showcasing Kevin Hart hosting one of Diddy's infamous parties. The video, a candid look behind the velvet ropes, captured Hart in full command, his comedic genius steering the night's revelry. The atmosphere was electric, a visual feast of glittering lights and high spirits, with Hart's voice cutting through the din, a master of ceremonies in his element.
if you ain't talking to a girl, then you got to go, because this ain't that type of party.
The footage offered a rare glimpse into the exclusive world of Diddy's parties, with Hart's presence amplifying the intrigue. Viewers were treated to laughter, dance, and candid moments between celebrities, all under the watchful eye of the night's charismatic host. Hart's jokes resonated with the crowd, a mix of humor and audacity that only he could deliver. At the same time, Diddy's interactions with guests added a layer of enigmatic allure to the affair. At one point, Diddy is seen ordering all the men to couple up with the women, because that's how his parties go. He also asked everyone to take off their hats if they wanted to remain at the party, stating that he was the only one who could wear a hat. However, the most surprising part of the video is that his son was at the occasion.
Shouts out to Diddy's sons who look nothing like him. It's still in question.
While his sons
Yeah, I hear that the sons are chips off the old block.
are legal adults, allowing them to participate in such wild parties sparked media outrage. Diddy is being accused of not shielding his boys from his debauchery. No wonder one of his sons was named in a recent lawsuit against Diddy by Lil Rod. Public reaction to the footage was a maelstrom of fascination and speculation. Fans and onlookers dissected every frame, searching for clues to the true nature of these parties. Social media buzzed with discussions and debates, some expressing admiration for the unabashed display of celebrity culture, others raising eyebrows at the decadence on display. The video also sparked conversations about the boundaries of privacy and the public's insatiable appetite for a peek into the lives of the rich and famous. It was a moment that blurred the lines between private celebration and public spectacle, leaving many wondering about the stories the camera didn't capture.
Yo, come in here, no homo. We're gonna get some ladies in here though, but we're gonna make sure our breakfast is fresh.
The whispers surrounding the nature of Diddy's parties have swirled like the smoke that fills the rooms where they're held. Over time, these events have evolved from mere music industry mixers into the epitome of exclusive nightlife. The evolution has been marked by a growing sense of mystery and a reputation for pushing the envelope, with rumors always one step ahead of reality. Tales of lavish themes and unrestrained indulgence have become part of the fabric of Diddy's party lore.
I didn't register the information yet. I said, and our shit is fire.
Rumors of freak-offs and other shady activities have often been hinted at but never confirmed, adding a layer of scandalous intrigue. The parties are a space where the elite can explore the limits of their freedom, shielded from the public eye by the high walls of opulent mansions and the discretion of those fortunate enough to be invited. As the years have passed, the stories have become more elaborate, with each party seemingly trying to outdo the last. The evolution of these gatherings reflects a changing celebrity culture that increasingly merges with the realms of fashion, business, and even politics. Diddy's ability to adapt and redefine what a party can be has kept them relevant and coveted, a status symbol in an ever-shifting landscape. Yet, with evolution comes scrutiny. The more extravagant the parties, the louder the whispers become. Allegations of excess and impropriety have clung to the fringes of these events, challenging the public's perception of Diddy's brand of entertainment. Despite this, or perhaps because of it, the allure of these parties remains undiminished, a testament to their enduring place in the pantheon of pop culture phenomena. In the high-octane universe of celebrity shindigs, few can rival the spectacle of Diddy's wild parties, which have become synonymous with hedonism and high society. But what happens when comedy powerhouse Kevin Hart takes the host role at one of these notorious bashes? Rumors have long swirled about the debauchery and freak-offs that allegedly unfold behind closed doors, and now tantalizing new footage offers a glimpse into this exclusive world. As whispers turn into headlines, we peel back the velvet curtain to reveal the truth behind these sensational recreational gatherings? Are Diddy and Kevin Hart simply indulging in the ultimate expression of celebrity excess? Or is there more to these infamous festivities than meets the eye? Diddy, the hip-hop mogul and entrepreneur, has long been the architect of some of the most talked about parties in the entertainment industry. His name has become synonymous with lavish celebrations pushing extravagance's boundaries. These aren't just parties, they're cultural phenomena, spectacles that capture the imagination of fans and celebrities alike. The genesis of Diddy's party reputation can be traced back to the 1990s when he first emerged as a titan in the music world. His soirees quickly became the stuff of legend, a playground for the rich and famous where the champagne never stopped flowing and the music blared until the sun came up. Here, Diddy cemented his status as the great Gatsby of hip-hop, hosting events that were as much about power and prestige as they were about celebration. As the years progressed, the allure of Diddy's parties only grew stronger. The guest list read like a who's who of Hollywood, with icons from music, film, and sports clamoring for an invitation to these exclusive gatherings. The parties became a symbol of success, a badge of honor for those who cut, and a source of endless fascination for those on the outside looking in. But with fame comes scrutiny, and Diddy's parties were no exception. The luxury and secrecy surrounding these events have often been a breeding ground for rumors and controversy. Whispers of wild behavior, over-the-top performances, and uninhibited revelry have become as much a part of the narrative as the parties themselves. Despite the controversies, or perhaps because of them, Diddy's parties continue to be a beacon for those seeking the ultimate night out. They represent a slice of the unattainable celebrity lifestyle for most, a world where the normal rules don't apply, and every night promises an unforgettable experience. Kevin Hart's relationship with Diddy is forged in the glimmer of the spotlight and strengthened by mutual respect and admiration. Hart, known for his electric energy and quick-witted humor, has often been the life of the party at many high-profile events. Still, his presence at Diddy's parties is particularly noteworthy. Their camaraderie is palpable, with Hart frequently spotted weaving through the crowds of guests, his laughter as infectious as the beats dropping from the speakers. Hart's role at these events transcends that of a mere attendee. He often takes on the mantle of host, a role he relishes as much as his stand-up performance.
You know what's so depressing about all of this? I don't know how many of you all follow sports. I certainly don't, but I did see that a great athlete died today. Dikembe Mutombo, a basketball player who hailed from the Democratic Republic of Congo. He started off his career at Georgetown, where he was accepted to be pre-med, but he had this great talent for basketball, and so he changed his major. He ended up playing for 6 different basketball teams. After he was signed to the first one, he used his money to buy school buses for schools in the DRC. He founded a school, he founded a hospital. He raised a lot of money to do great works in his home country. And he said that when he went out to try to solicit money from other millionaires in the NBA, that he got a lot of doors slamming shut in his face. And 2 of the only people who would donate to him were Patrick Ewing and Alonzo Mourning. Dikembe Mutombo was a great man who died at 58 of brain cancer, a man who used his wealth and his influence to improve the lives of the poor in the Democratic Republic of Congo, who tried to better the lives of the poor in terms of medical care and education. A truly, truly great human being. And thank you so much, No Name. Thank you so much. And when you contrast his generosity and his great spirit with these loser scumbag celebrities, it's very, very eye-opening. Thank you, No Name. Thank you so much for the 10 memberships. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, let's wrap this up.
performances. With a microphone and a captive audience, Hart becomes the ringleader, orchestrating the night's festivities with a blend of charm and cheeky bravado. His dynamic with Diddy is a dance of equals, each playing off the other's energy, creating an electrifying and intimate atmosphere. The advent of social media has dramatically transformed the perception of Diddy's parties, altering the dynamic between exclusivity and public spectacle. In an age where a single post can go viral in seconds, the once impenetrable veil of privacy that shrouded these events has been lifted, giving the world a front row seat to the opulence and intrigue that define them. Social media has become the lens through which the masses experience the grandeur of Diddy's soirees. Snippets of these parties, shared by attendees and often by Diddy himself, serve as digital invitations to the wider public. Each post, story, and tweet adds to the mythology, building a narrative that is part reality, part carefully crafted image. But some of those who have attended these parties have much to say. Some are good, others are not. Some celebrities, like Jamie Foxx, have openly shared their awe at the scale and energy of these parties. Foxx in particular has spoken about the magnetic pull of Diddy's celebrations, where the spectacle of wealth and celebrity is on full display. For Foxx, it was the beginning of a long-standing tradition. He claims the parties themselves were nothing short of legendary. Held at Diddy's opulent homes in New York and Los Angeles, they were a spectacle of luxury and excess.
I swear to God, it's the way that these parties are described. It's like a combination of a Gatsby party and Caligula's Rome. You know? All right. There's not that much more left, maybe 10 minutes. Let's go.
Jamie Foxx, a regular by now, witnessed the evolution of these gatherings from mere parties to legendary nights that defined an era. Among the constellation of memories Jamie Foxx has shared about Diddy's parties, certain anecdotes stand out, painting a vivid picture of these events' unique experiences.
He threw a party and he said, "Yo, Playboy, this party costs $1.5 million." I'm like, "You are out of your mind."
One such story that Fox fondly recounts is the unforgettable white party held every Labor Day weekend. At one of these iconic parties, the entire estate was transformed into a sea of white, with every guest, including Fox, adhering to the strict dress code, creating an ethereal atmosphere. Fox recalls the sheer...
Oh, Sunshine, I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better soon. And thank you for being here, and I'm very, very glad to entertain you while you're banged up at hospital.
star power in attendance, with celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Ashton Kutcher, and Naomi Campbell mingling among the crowd. The night was a celebration marathon, with Diddy leading the charge, ensuring the energy never waned. His admiration for Diddy's parties has put Fox under scrutiny, especially in recent weeks, as Diddy got slammed with multiple sexual abuse lawsuits and sex trafficking investigations. Artists like 50 Cent have publicly distanced themselves from these events, with 50 Cent's candid remarks about feeling uncomfortable at the party sparking conversations about the true nature of the festivities.
It's uncomfortable. I think I belong in the girls' bathroom.
Beyond that, 50 Cent is allegedly working on a surviving Diddy documentary that aims to shed light on all the sexual trafficking and sexual abuse allegations against the music mogul. If the rumors are true and 50 Cent can gather enough dirt on Diddy, Diddy would be done, or Diddy done in 50's own words. For some, it's a matter of personal preference, choosing to avoid what they perceive as an
Fight on, sunshine. Fight on. As you know, I am a cancer survivor, and there's always hope. Always hope. Fight the good fight. And if you need anything, please reach out to me and let me know.
Atmosphere that doesn't align with their values or comfort levels. For others, it's a statement against what they see as the party's problematic aspects, from the treatment of guests to the rumored behaviors that take place behind closed doors. Lindsay Lohan, who was a fixture in the party scene and no stranger to the highs and lows of celebrity life, expressed that Diddy's parties were too wild even for her tastes. This sentiment was echoed by Wendy Williams, the media personality known for her candid commentary, who also felt that the extravagance and wildness of Diddy's parties were excessive. Cassandra Ventura, known as Cassie, who had been closely associated with Diddy professionally and personally, hinted at the intensity of these events.
I am absolutely heartbroken that Wendy Williams is so ill, and that she's been ill for a number of years, because God knows we need Wendy Williams right now. Wendy Williams, who was always so brave, so outspoken, and who is unable to lend her voice to this story when she is so desperately needed. It's just a goddamn shame.
Suggesting that they were not for the faint of heart. Lil' Kim, another powerhouse in the rap industry, was disturbed by the level of drug use she witnessed at these events. Her unease was indicative of a broader concern about the normalization of drug consumption at industry parties, where the pressure to partake could be immense and the consequences overlooked in the name of a good time. She also allegedly complained about how Diddy mistreats women. Her concerns highlighted a darker aspect of the party culture, where the treatment of female guests and the portrayal of women could be demeaning. This serious this allegation pointed to a culture of disrespect that could fester in environments where excess went unchecked. Adding to the chorus of concerns was Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, who provided an insider's perspective on the wildness of these parties.
There's no way that you know what happens in Diddy party, and you supposed to be a Christian. You understand? You supposed to be his spiritual advisor, and you up in this party.
His accounts added credibility to the claims of overindulgence and lack of restraint, painting a picture of events where the pursuit of pleasure often eclipsed personal safety and well-being. Gene Deal has exposed so many dark secrets Diddy was trying to hide, and most of them correspond with the recent lawsuit allegations against Diddy. The complaints were not isolated incidents, but part of a growing narrative that suggested a pattern of behavior and an environment that many found troubling. The stories shared by these artists and insiders began to overshadow the previous allure of the parties, raising questions about the cost of such extravagance and the impact it had on those who attended.
And you know, it's amazing to me that Lindsay Lohan, who was so lost for so many years and so deeply troubled, another victim of the child star abattoir, if you will, and who managed to pull the nose up of the plane just in time and seems to be doing very well now. Seems to have stabilized her life, thank God. It took her a while, but I mean, there's always hope.
As the complaints became more public, they served as a wake-up call to the industry. The parties that had once been the ultimate symbol of success and the place to be seen were now being scrutinized for the values they promoted and the behaviors they encouraged. This shift in narrative marked a significant moment in the legacy of Diddy's parties, as the voices of dissent grew louder and the call for change became more urgent. Diddy has been accused of using these freak-offs as a front to pick up girls for his sex trafficking operation, the darker side of Diddy's freak-offs. Beneath the veneer of unbridled joy and celebration, a darker narrative has emerged from the shadows of Diddy's freak-offs. Allegations have surfaced over the years, painting a grim picture of what might lurk beneath the surface of these storied gatherings. Whispers of sexual assault and harassment have been echoed by partygoers who claim their experiences at these events were marred by violations that left them feeling vulnerable and exposed. The accusations extend to the gravest of claims, with some reports suggesting a sinister connection to sex trafficking. These allegations point to a network that operates in the underbelly of the party scene, where the exploitation of the vulnerable is said to be overlooked in favor of the hedonistic pursuits of the powerful. It's a chilling thought that such heinous activities could be happening amid what many perceive to be the pinnacle of entertainment extravagance.
And see, that's the thing. This is the thing that everybody has to keep in mind. It wasn't people like Beyonce who were being exploited at these parties. Okay, it was what they call the pass-around girls. It was the sex workers. It was people with no influence, no power, no nothing. Those were the ones who were considered to be expendable by Diddy and by his organization, by his people. So, I mean, when you look at the high-level people who were there, they weren't the ones who were in danger, okay? They were, in many cases, the ones who were also doing the exploiting themselves. But it was the rest, it was the crowd, it was the girls who were brought in to be props and to be abused by these men at these parties that were in danger. I mean, I can't get that image out of my mind of the excesses that went to such a degree that they were basically held hostage on the premises and given IVs to recover from the drug use and the physical abuse that they sustained at these so-called parties. Absolutely incredible. This is one of the most disgusting stories I have ever covered, ever. I thought that I had seen the nadir of the entertainment business, and I can tell you, and I have said this before, that there are certain areas of journalism that are incredibly corrupt. The sports coverage, sports journalism is extremely corrupt, but entertainment really goes, reaches a whole new level. And this is why you had to have people like Cat Williams and others who came forward, people who were prominent in the business had to come forward to speak out. And of course, a lot of them were gaslighted or written off as crazy, mentally unstable, jealous, vindictive, and it turned out that they were right. And actually, they were underreporting how bad things got with this man. And I'm very, very curious to see, as Aunt No Angle says, the fallout from this will never end. I hope it doesn't. I hope that the ripples go far and wide and that a lot of people end up having to answer for their participation in this abuse and violence and criminality. Absolutely disgusting. And I hope and pray that the stories that were told by Kim Porter and others are not true, but I have a terrible, terrible sinking feeling that they are true. And I also hope that Justin Bieber is getting all the help that he needs. And I hope that all the people who along the way have undermined him, have mocked him, have dragged him, when he was clearly suffering through some sort of a trauma based on his experiences, not only with Diddy, but in the entertainment business at such a ridiculously young age. I hope that they all think twice about trying to exploit mentally ill and unwell victims of trauma on the internet, on TV, in any forum, because it is disgusting. It is one of the lowest things that anyone can do. So anyway, my back is killing me right now. I've got to go and sit on something that has really good back support, and I've got to eat some dinner. But thank you all for being here. Thank you, No Name. Thank you, everyone who donated. And thank you all for being here. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you all tomorrow at noon. Fingers crossed that the internet isn't blown out. And Negs will be streaming at 8:30, I believe. So thank you all so much. And I'll be posting a link to Negs' stream on my community tab. So thank you, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.